back, everyone, to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where Peace and CBLOL's Red Canids are facing off in what is essentially a preview of tomorrow's matchup in the knockout stage. For the Red Canids, they are looking to become the first Brazilian team in the group stage since 2016. Then they were auto-seeded, but they haven't made it through the play-ins yet since then. It would be a culmination of the dedication and devotion that lies at the heart of the CBLOL, a region which we are always looking at as being really amazing in terms of production quality, teams, fan atmosphere, and whatnot. And it looks like it's a long time coming that they make it to the next stage.
Yeah, so when talking about CBLOL history, for those that don't know, I've been following the CBLOL since 2014, when, you know, Kaboom had that upset game against Alliance. And then this INTZ Esports upsetting EDG in the groups, which was kind of insane. We've always been looking at them initially when we started looking at minor regions coming to international competition. They were the kind of harbinger of those regions slowly catching up to where the major regions were regarding the top teams in those regions, right? So, and then since then, they've had kind of a rough time at international competition. We already talked about this with Red, how like typically CBLOL teams will sometimes win their first game and then struggle with the rest of their group during the play-in stage. So, you know, Red have a storied history behind them regionally, and now it's about how well can they execute to try to make it to the next stage.
It certainly is, and when we look across to Peace, of course, quite unexpectedly to many, Pentanet made it to the group stage of Worlds for the first time in the O's history, Chronicler. And now we've got Peace, who've been plagued by a couple of roster issues, both through the split and coming into this, but they are on the cusp of making it to those best of fives.
And I think Emily already talked really nicely about the history of the CBLOL. Let's not forget the rough year that has befallen the Oceanic region, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so much of their talent has kind of gone out and then conquered other regions. I'm looking at you, Fudge and FBI. Even the academy scene, right, was like, there was a ton of Oceanic talent that really did exceptionally there as well. And Pentanet already, as you pointed out, had a great performance at MSI. And for Peace to then come in after such a rough split domestically because of external issues, and then violently stomp your way through playoffs, 3-0 the favorite in Pentanet, that's got to feel good. And I'm really excited to see what they'll bring here today, because I feel like they have been, like a lot of other player teams, really kind of getting back into the form that you'd expect of them based on their domestic performance. Definitely
so. We're all going to be rather covering picks and bans here on the desk. I would like to take a look at our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. It's the mid lane Grevthar versus Tally. And I think when you talk about the homegrown talent, Tally is the prime example of that for O's. And Grevthar really has been the harbinger of change and stability for the Red Canids.
Yeah, so if you're looking at these two, I think they kind of want to do similar things for their team. Tally's laning is a bit stronger, and then Grevthar is such a key component of when Red want to fight, right? Because I do think on this team, he has the best initiation sense. So if he's initiating the fight and the rest of the team is communicating with him really well, and he can influence the map from mid, that's such an important part of a Red Canids win.
It is. We'll see where they go in the picks and bans, which we will get to in a second. We've seen some different looks coming out of Tally. He's been prioritizing the Irelia, but also the Galio, which are distinctly different styles. What do you think should be the approach in this one particularly, Emily?
I think like his Irelia game was really good because he was able to basically mitigate pressure that they had mid to the point where the rest of that team comp came online. Violet on the Xayah was just absolutely popping off. So if they are going to go for something like that where they have a late game carry that can just kind of take over the game, especially with setup from Babip on that Lilia was fantastic as well. I think that's more of the comp I want to see Peace go for because then they can capitalize on a lot of these mistakes that we've unfortunately seen Red make in their mid game.
Yes, as we pull up the pick and ban Chronicler, what do you think the priority should be coming out of the CBLOL squad?
For CBLOL, I think you need to try and get a matchup for Grevthar where he's not expected to bleed too much early, and tying into that, a good bot lane matchup. I think if Peace can punish Grevthar's subpar laning phase, get Tally really far ahead by either getting him a really good matchup, giving a lot of attention from Babip or from Aladoric, it's going to be much harder for Canids to, when they get to the mid game, actually play that really momentum skirmish-based style. So making sure that you get a good matchup for Grevthar matchup, which they should be able to on red side, I think is going to be really important.
I'm also quite excited to see what is going to happen in jungle and top. I know we haven't talked about it that much in comparison to Grevthar, but Guigo and Aegis really were also the strongholders for Red Canids when it came to their split and their playoffs run, and they're up against what I feel are two of the strong members of Peace in Babip and Vizicsacsi, who has integrated into the team, I would say, as smoothly as you can with not a lot of practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's
hard.
It's one of those things where it's going to be rough. When we're looking at Chachi in that top lane, he's a lot different than what we've seen from Guigo, right? Like, Guigo has very quietly performed well on these carries, which we've already seen. The Camille go, the Draven ban against Titan. I keep wanting to see that Draven, because I think Draven is quite strong. But then we also have the MF ban coming through now. So I am very curious to see where both of these teams go regarding AD carry picks, because MF has been so heavily prioritized throughout the entirety of this play-in stage. Oh, the Poppy Hover. They're not going to drop that first.
Us.
Yeah, okay. Lucian, super strong lane for Violet, and then for Aladoric, we'll be looking for something like the Nami. I would love. I think Lucian Nami is an incredibly strong bot lane. Ooh.
Well, I'd love to know what you think about that, because I agree that Lucian Nami is super insane, but I still value the Leona very highly when you get out of that lane, as well as the pressure you can have in the lane. It's a hard one to choose from.
Well, and of play-in teams, I do think that we haven't seen a lot of teams really be able to capitalize on that insane pressure that Lucian Nami will give you. I am curious, because obviously, yeah, Red already locked in the Leona, and then the Ryze for Grevthar, right? We're talking about him getting out of lane, affecting the map. This is a perfect pick for that.
Yeah, the wave clear that Ryze is available, I think, really aids with both making sure that Grevthar doesn't have to interact too much with his opponent, while simultaneously being able to come mid-game, find some really aggressive swings. I think the Braum pickup here is really interesting. Braum obviously is a really nice matchup into the Leona, but at the same time, I do agree that like the sheer laning power for the Nami would have provided a bit more pressure for Peace on bot side. Picking Kled into a Kennen and a Braum would be very overly optimistic, but so is Kalista actually. I think that's a really big risk if you look at what Peace have already gotten here.
Yeah, so Kalista again brings like typically strong laning pressure. She does fall off a lot, and like this is something that has plagued LCS and LPL as the two like major regions that I really heavily focus on a lot, in terms of, okay, what are you going to do past a certain point in the game with that. Taking away the TF, I do really like as well, because again, if you're looking for something for Tally to kind of match the Ryze, it could, so I've only seen this in LPL if I remember, it could be a Kennen mid angle, not sure. Chronicler's laughing at me, not sure if I want to see it.
You gotta call it out.
I'm just throwing it out there because I have seen this before.
It's also interesting because there's a lowered priority on junglers, which have been like really high in first rotations. So both these teams are looking more for that bot lane angle. If it is actually the Kennen mid, that'd be insane. I would love to see a Sylas ban here, because I do feel like that's a pick that both works really well with what Peace already have, and was also able to a certain extent match the Ryze. Galio also comes to mind, although he might be a little bit heavy on the magic damage, but instead the Yone, really wanting to make sure that there is not too much carry threat from Tally, which, given is a Rallier game, I kind of understand.
Sometimes I have a hard time seeing if it's locked in or just hovered with the difference, so I get too excited.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, whoa, okay, first lock in Pyke. That's an interesting choice.
There we go.
The Graves. Okay. I like that, because you technically can still flex it. So now Red can look at what Peace has to round out their comp. And then if they really want, they can flex it top or jungle. I don't expect them to flex it mid just because the Ryze is already there.
Yeah.
So.
Does tie into the larger thing that I'm kind of afraid of for Red now, in how short range their composition is as a whole. I do think that they have a nice spread of damage. They have a lot of pressure points in the early game. They can find good mid-game swings with that Ryze and impact sides, but then I look at Kennen and Braum, and I'm like, are you actually going to be able to do any of that? Especially when augmented by a Nocturne, meaning that your side lane pressure of the Ryze is like somewhat mitigated. Looking really good from Peace here thus far.
Yeah, this draft says we're going in. Yeah. Like we are all going in, and if they get these engages coordinated well, it's going to be nuts. Right? Like that's just an insane execution on this. Meanwhile, for Red, I actually don't hate the Gangplank as well. I think he's incredibly strong. If they do get to a point late where they can execute, and again, Grevthar is getting out of lane to affect side lanes. I just love so Peace's comp is just like, we're going in and we're killing you. Yeah. And I always kind of love to see how teams end up executing that.
I think that's a great point. I do think when you have a lot of tools that can make you kind of push the button and go for it in high stakes games and in playing games, that is usually high value. But again, Chronicler, you do have to go for it. We have a little bit more time to talk about the drafts here. Where do you land now that you see them in totality, and where should we look in terms of the early game emphasis coming out of both comps?
So I do quite like the Gangplank pickup, as Emily already hinted towards. Not only does it add another element of scaling, which gives your comp even more comeback potential in late, but it's also good because I talked about the short range composition that Red Canids had. Well, Peace also fully opted into that with the Tryndamere and the Nocturne locked in last rotation. One big thing for me is that with both of these two compositions, I think even more so than we already discussed, the early game is going to be so pivotal because whereas the Red Canids composition has some form of decent wave clear, but outside the Gangplank, like Ryze is still relatively short range, so he still would have to walk up to the wave. When it comes to Peace, like when they fall behind, their comp doesn't do a whole lot. And Red Canids, yes, they have the scaling, but Kalista, Ryze, if they can't actually get in range, also might run into similar issues. So early game, gonna be pivotal.
Let's see, the teams are, as you see, ready on the Rift, so let's head over to our casters.
Thank you so much, Shocks. Of course, Emily and Chronicler bringing us all of the good, juicy stuff. There we are. Hello. Hey. As we come into this game. Big preview before our best of 5 coming into tomorrow. Obviously, there's going to be a couple of different feelings about how you want to try and show and stuff like that. But right now, this feels like, I like this. I like what Red have, but I love what Peace have got into them. It's so scary just having to get this entire team running at you.
Yeah, and I think I agree with what Chronicler said, right? If this thing starts to fall behind, it's going to run out of gas very quickly. But if you can try and play off like the level 6 from Babip, start playing around Tally in the early stages, you're going to look really, really good. And I think a large portion of what Red are going to want to try and do in these early stages is use the fact that Grevthar should have a decent amount to shove in this mid lane, start to move down and work towards Titan and Jojo on that bottom lane, and see if you can try and shut down Violet and Aladoric.
And the big thing is, like you said, if you can slow it down, if you can stop this freight train down to, 5-6 miles per hour, it's an awful lot less scary than it's hitting you at 50 miles per hour. It's a lot less damaging. So we'll see exactly how Red are able to move themselves throughout this early game. And honestly, it's exactly how I expected this mid lane matchup to go. Tally going to feel very comfortable in the first few levels to be able to just push in Grevthar.
Yeah, it's actually very different to what well, at least what I was expecting coming into the World Championship was we were seeing the triple rejuvenation bead with one pot. We're actually just getting the door and shield pot. So Tally, going to take a little bit of a beating in the early stages, but should be still relatively okay to just heal off of his Q, make sure that he's fine, and actually getting a bit of a push here against Grevthar, who's trying to respect the ability of this Tryndamere to just jump on top of you.
And the level 1 as well, this is something that the Gangplank is very, very potent at. He has just got himself with that Grasp the Undying. The parlay is just able to be such a nuisance alongside that passive on his auto attack. You just get so much early damage. So good from Vizicsacsi to recognize this and say, hey, look, I don't have the priority right now. I just got to wait.
I also think for Chachi, you're going to get shoved in by Guigo in the early stages, right? A good amount of damage coming off the Grasp, and Guigo knows that he's free to do this because look at the junglers, right? Full clears both sides.
Full clears both sides. We're going to jump down towards this bot side. T10 has gotten exhausted. He's trying to turn this one around. They've got the concussive blows down. Jojo will keep himself alive, but both AD carries taking a significant amount of their health gone.
I love that we're getting these more aggressive AD carries because we're getting this every game now. Both teams going ham in the spot side, trying to get control of these early stages. Now, Titan and Jojo look at least with that engage. They should have a little bit of control on this bottom side and be able to shove in just as Aegis is moving his way down towards that bottom side.
Grevthar going to have a little bit of a push now, knowing that his jungler is very much in the vicinity. Tali going to respect that for the moment and just back himself under the turret. Should be able to pick up all these CS.
Yeah, the big win for Red is actually this top side, though. Guigo has got this shove in. You had already forced Vizicsacsi back, so now you've actually got a quick reset that Guigo can go for, move back in towards top side, not have to burn his teleport, and you've got a really nice top side of the map going well for Red Canids off that get-go.
We're going to see now the side of Red going towards this bot side. There is a ward in that tri-bush, so it's just going to be CS lost, sadly, to the OCE bot side, as they now realize they cannot really stay around here. And it's going to put them a little bit further behind than they probably wanted.
And this is exactly what I want to see, right? We talked about Red playing off of the quicker clear from Aegis, moving with Grevthar's pushing mid down towards the bottom side. If you can deny Violet access to this wave, well, you're going to be doing really well for yourselves. Plus, as you've seen in several of these games, Violet is the standout carry for Peace. Setting this guy behind seems to be the key to unlocking a lot of the problems that are on Peace's side.
Again, very tempered start. No one going down just yet. A lot of posturing and maneuvering to see if you can get an advantage anywhere in these lanes. Have a quick look now, and I'm curious to see now where we're going to see Babip focus, because we obviously know about the Nocturne. He was very prevalent in the meta earlier in the summer split, but now that he's kind of fallen off a little bit, where do you want to see him focus that all-important first paranoia?
It definitely needs to be into either of the solo laners. Personally, I think it'll be towards Chachi, just because you end up having that easy ultimate to play around, burn that quick remove scurvy from the Gangplank, and then follow up with Babip's damage. But I think if you're trying to go bot side, it becomes a little bit more difficult, just because you're going to have so much CC, the ability to kite back, and you don't really have an engage support realistically to set yourself up. You can just have Jojo tank a lot of that engage. He gets reefed out with the Fate's Call, and you're kind of fine and dandy for T-Top.
You know what, Dagda? I'm happy with what you think, but I want to know what everyone else thinks. We got the Verizon 5G all chat. Let us know. Share your opinions, your cheers, your well wishes, what you think is going to happen, where you think the Nocturne should go. There's plenty of things there, and we will call out someone later on in the broadcast. We are going to see now Peace going towards this early Drake. They're looking to get the objective ball rolling and keep themselves just on a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, and this is something that we see a lot from Peace. They like top 3 in the LCO in neutral objectives across the board, but definitely high priority on those Drakes. So not surprised to see them use the fact that Violet and Aladoric had that push in, try and get over towards this dragon. It will slow the pace at which Babip hits level 6, because when you look across at Aegis, right, he's just free farming his jungle, getting the faster resetting back out on the map. I want to see now what Aegis can do with the level advantage and that bit more time that he has.
It's been very tempered so far from both these teams, and as we said before, we're starting to see level 6s being picked up, so the Undying Rage, and of course the Realm Warp, and immediately we have Grevthar looking to find those pockets of Fog of War.
Well, there's going to be a lot of these teams trying to feel each other out, right? Because tomorrow we've got a best of 5 between these two teams, so you're going to be kind of taking this as like +1 for the best of 5. It's like, all right, okay, what do you got? How are we feeling? What are we seeing? So I think for both sides, it's kind of like, okay, let's use this as a bit of a testing ground to see what we get.
Again, just seeing where these all-important ultimates are going to be available. Guigo now having the Cannon Barrage. You will have the Slicing Maelstrom for Vizicsacsi very, very soon as well. But now that the Dragon's kind of taking down, we are still a minute and a half away from this. This is, again, very, very slow early game, but usually when this happens, we tend to lead to a much more explosive mid to late.
I do think, though, this favors Peace, at least from the early stages, right? Because a lot of what this composition has relies on the level 6. You look at Tryndamere, you look at the Nocturne, and even the bottom side of the map becomes a lot more potent when you get towards that level 6. So I think for Peace, kind of riding the wave of the early stages, not falling too far behind, is a bit of a win for them. But as I say that, they're invading onto the bottom side. You got Grevthar with push mid. Teton will be spotted.
Yeah, he will be spotted. They're going to have Aladoric just throwing a ward over, so they know that 3 people are here. Tali has got himself the Undying Rage. They're going to go straight onto T-Town. Here we go. TP coming in. The Cannon Barrage is going to be a pseudo 4th man or 5th man. And the flash forward Slicing Maelstrom stuns up a hell of a lot of people. There's a hell of a lot of summoners being taken down. First blood goes over to the OCE, and Pete with another to make it a 2 for none.
Gorgeous play from Peace. We just said the level 6 is where they come online. Instant that comes in. TP from Chachi. They pick up all that they need on that bottom side. And now you've got the ball rolling back in Peace's favor, bringing them back from that goal deficit that we'd seen.
Big, big play right there from Peace. And honestly, it was Red just sitting on their laurels a little bit, kind of overestimating how big of an impact that Cannon Barrage was. And yes, it went down, but once you move past it, Guigo's not there. You're 4v5.
Yeah, it was also just, you know, Grevthar had some push in mid, but was zoned out by Tali. You had Violet and Aladoric who'd moved across, and because Chachi was willing to actually bring the TP along. You're just outnumbered, so unfortunately Red not able to pick that up fast enough, and we'll get on the replay, right? Look at where Grevthar is. He's not really getting into this fight for a large portion of it. You get the TP, which instantly Red have to respect, and Chachi commits that early flash to guarantee he can lock up some of these members, but we're back into fights.
We're going to go back in this time around. It's going to be Guigo who's getting himself caught up between the Nocturne and a Kennen. The Danger Mouse going to be picking that one up. That is another kill for Vizicsacsi, who's finally feeling like he's found his groove. Aegis is here, but he's only there to clear a ward.
And that's the double CC that we were talking about, playing around Chachi, making sure that you can set this up, but Aegis, Tally's here.
Oh, Tally is on top of him. He does have the Undying Rage as well, so he's going to keep on smacking him down with that absolutely absurd sword. He's going to go underneath the tower. He knows that he's got the ultimate available to him. He flashes in. There's another kill. TP's just going to be a little bit too late from Guigo, and that's going to be 4-0 to Peace.
And they're even getting the Rift Herald off the back of this as well. Babip is picking that one up. This is phenomenal play from Peace, and for a team that was just riddled with issues, it's great to see them coming online.
Here we go, action all day, every day, but Jojo just a slight sliver too short. Cannot get the connection with the Fate's Call. They cannot make it work, and we calm down just a little bit.
This so good to see from Peace, though, when you have a team that's had so many roster changes and movements, for them to now be stepping up and working so well as a team. This is exactly what so many people from the LCO were hoping for, and now with Peace, a nice, well, almost a nice gold lead for themselves. Some of the lanes not keeping up in CS means that we're still seeing a bit of a close call when it comes to gold, but when you get this Rift Herald down, when you're able to unlock Tally and move him into a side lane, it feels like that's where Peace are going to shine.
And Tally, speaking of which, actually, never mind, we're going to go up to Guigo, who has got himself fear, going to cleanse that one up, so he's an orange he'll BK. Never mind, I lied. That's a slicing mouse from the Danger Mouse, helps out Babip to pick up another kill. 5-0, and now Titan's by himself as Leona roamed mid. The exhaust is good, but not good enough. Violet picking up his first kill of the game.
And now you get the movement down from Red, but unfortunately they're a little bit too late. They've already picked off the AD carry. Violet and Aladoric will back away, although as I say that...
Here we go, Realm Warp. They did have the Solar Flare as well. That's going to be a fantastic Glacial Fissure, but not enough to save Lucian's life. I love the effort, but a good response here for Red.
But look on the top side. Peace, they've topped down the Rift Herald. They're looking to make the crossbar play. You got Tryndamere as well pushing in the mid. You're trading up as Peace. This was so well orchestrated by Peace.
Fantastic little moves here, and Red Canids just looking a little bit desperate right now, looking a little bit like they're just a little bit too slow on the pushes, a little bit too slow on the reactions.
And this is something that you'll see a lot from the top teams, is that they'll go, okay, we can take the little lost boss if we're going to get far more elsewhere on the map. And that's what we're seeing from Peace here, right? Violet and Aladoric playing a little bit aggressive on the lane because they know elsewhere on the map, even if they go down, they're going to win across the board. And that's what we're seeing from Peace. Now, Red would get a dragon for themselves, but one turret plate standing on top, 3 in the mid. You're picking up so much gold, and here we go again.
Oh, it just looks like deja vu. I've been to this place before. Is Guigo going to get jumped on? This time around, it's a 1v1. He will get the cannon barrage off. Babip still chasing with that Dustbringer, able to push him down underneath his tower. Will get the global out of the Gangplank, and that's going to be Guigo feeling so much pressure. We got to go right down to the bot side. As you can see, the Zeta play goes in. Titan with Aegis trying to put down those spears. Gets the rend off, but not quite able to get any more damage. Jojo and Aegis still hunting, still fishing. Not going to be able to make anything stick.
Yeah, Violet and Aladoric going to back away from the turret. Grevthar dipping into the fog of war, starting to lean towards bot side, but when they see that Grevthar is back and they got Vizicsacsi pushing him top side, you've still got Peace controlling this map state, and Red not really keeping up when it comes towards how Peace are playing the map, which honestly is completely different from what we saw from Peace in the regular split. They were very much the team that was, hey, we're going to beat you early, and then not really understand how to play the map in the mid to late game. This is far better shot calling from this squad.
It really, really is. There's top turret going down on all its plates and glory, as we see now 4 members of the Red Canids coming down towards this bot side to try and keep Titan going forward. He is still 10 CS up, has gotten a fair few plates himself, but it's still not enough. He is still seeing Peace 3,000 gold ahead. It's a dragon apiece, so no one really cares. We can see now with the gold where it's situated. Vizicsacsi is about 1,500 gold ahead of his counterparts. That Kennen is just going to be such a monster if he can find a flank.
Yeah, and that's what I was curious to see actually, as Aladoric was looking for the reset. If we got some sort of deep ward there, see if Chachi, as his TP is about to come up, if they can look for a play on the bottom side. But I think they're going to be pretty happy with the way this is going. I think now you start to move Tally off into a side lane, try and use that extended lane for him to chase down the things like the Gangplank, potential to chase down the Ryze, and now start to shift Vizicsacsi into work with the rest of the team and make sure you're playing off this 1-4 with Tally being your primary split pusher.
And this is, as all important, we talked about it's a preview, it's also an incredibly important game because the winner of this game gets themselves the priority of first game. They get to choose which side they're on for that best of 5. And I'm curious to see what you guys think with the hashtag Verizon 5G Uljas. Jors at Jors04. May not be the best region, but we have some heart. Let's go, peace. That's what I'm looking for. That's the energy you want to get from the OCE.
But there's nothing peaceful about this. They're already moving down to the bottom side again, looking for more plays. And they've now got Titan and Jojo, who've got to back away, knowing Chachi has the TP and can join on this bot side play.
And they have the pressure, and Babip just sitting around with the paranoia. He is got himself the stride breakers. He's got that little bit of extra CC that's slow to just keep himself stuck onto someone, get that Undying Nightmare down, and it just makes it so much more dangerous for Red in this bot side.
And remember what the desk said, right? This is a composition for Peace that if it fell behind, would struggle. That is not what we have here. This is the prime location for Peace, where they can continually look for engages, continuously look to chase you down.
Guigo being chased all the way back to his tier 2. Vizicsacsi doing fantastically well. 2-0-2. Has himself about a 15 CS lead as well. Has the Rocket Belt completed alongside those Sword Shoes. So he's going to start burning up these very squishy members. The only one who I'd be really saying who could go in on top of that would be Jojo. Oh, there we go. Slicing Maelstrom coming in. They're going to jump straight onto Guigo, who does not have an orange. He's going to have one more auto attack. But there is the Cannon Barrage and Aegis to try and help him out. They will force the flash out of Vizicsacsi. Not quite able to trade the kill, but Vizicsacsi just going a little bit too close.
Chachi's able to just about get away, but you still have to be so careful from Red. If you ever try and overextend on one of these plays, look at where Babip is, right? He's got that ultimate available. He can come in at a moment's notice. So even though you've got like these semi-global tools for Red to try and find picks, make plays, you've got to make sure you're doing it away from Babip. So whenever Babip isn't showing, you got to stay honest.
And Titan was by himself, immediately flashes, recognizes if he gets hit by those concussive blows because he took the exhaust, he's dead.
And I mean, look at where that TP ward is as well on that bottom side. You're just looking to see, hey, maybe we can try and get Vizicsacsi into this TP in the bottom lane. You'll see it right there in your screens. At any moment's notice, Chachi can join in and be such a nuisance on that bottom side. And because you've got to have Red commit resources now to the bot lane, you can get the Rift Herald on that top end.
Jojo doing his due diligence, saying, you know what, they do have a Kennen with a TP. We're going to try and kick out that ward. It's almost like they heard you, Dag.
Can we check the comms?
Can I check comms? Check comms. Comms check. But, of course, that is going to mean now with Titan and Jojo back in on this duo lane, they should be able to take themselves their first tower for their team. But Tali moving in towards this mid lane with Babip, with that Rift Herald, going to be able to take down this mid. So opening up that map a little bit more. And again, a better rotation coming out from Peace means they should be able to go for this. They're going to immediately commit to it. The Realm Warp just a little bit too far close to the tower. There is the Fear going down, which secures the Ryze going to the side of Peace as well. There's just so much pressure. Red don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, and you can see Peace, they're just using the fact they have control of these sideways. Group up in the mid, force the play, and this is the engage that we're talking about. They're still going.
They're still going. They can go as well. Aegis gets exhausted. The Solar Flare goes down to try and disengage, but nobody gets stunned up. Guigo has almost got himself on the concussive blows, but not quite getting it. There's a two-man Fates combo. Tali on the backside gets exhausted immediately. Has to pop the Undying Rage, and now Violet gets taken down. You might have gone a little bit too far forward as I say that. There goes Chachi to take back one for the side of Peace. They will end up being a trade. It's a bit scrappy, but Red will be pretty happy with the help bar trade.
Ooh, Chachi's still going though. Might get onto Guigo, but he's going to back away. And Peace, they go a little bit too far, and you do get the turn from Red. And this is going to be another Dragon now going Red's way. So nice job from Red in that engagement to fight back, find some leeway, and get themselves an objective.
I mean, honestly, Peace losing this Dragon's a bit of a big blunder in my eyes, because you had no reason. You had just gotten mid lane, you had just gotten the Rift Herald down, you had, as you said, the pressure in the side lanes, and now we can see exactly how Red goes in with this Axe Reach play.
Yeah, we get the engage coming through, which I thought was brilliant, right? You get the kill, nicely done, but keep your eyes on Chachi's ultimate. It's just not quite up as they go for the rest of this play. So Red start to move in. You're not really getting Chachi into a position where he can set up really nicely with this ult. And although they tried to commit more, tried to dissuade Red from going in, you're just not really in a position here as Chachi to get involved. You don't have that flash to actually close the distance, and Red doing a really good job of like playing back and forth, making sure that they actually can't be engaged on fully, and getting away from Tali the second he engages.
And Tali immediately exhausted as well. Very important to recognize that. Meant that he wasn't able to put down that instant burst damage. He wasn't able to get the constant auto attacks down, and ends up being a fairly decent trade. And Red, you'll be pretty damn happy, as considering you didn't have Grevthar on that fight fight, that's a pretty good result.
Yeah, exactly, and just kind of shows that PC still need to be careful. Although they have these great engages, you've still got a lot of damage that can come through from Red, especially like with Guigo. As the later the game goes, he's going to be churning out a bunch of damage as you try to run through those barrels, through that ultimate. Grevthar as well, having a ton of AoE, so you've got to still keep yourself careful on PC's side when you're going for these fights.
Absolutely, and we talked, or rather we did, and the desk did, talked about the scaling, the Gangplank, the Ryze, these kind of carries that just give you that little bit of insurance as you go later on into the game. We are seeing the Everfrost picked up now for the Ryze. It is just a trade of map states. Thank you very much, observers, as we see now both the lanes in top and bot are being traded, but Guigo even, just going to find Tally and just trade back a nice bit of chunk of health bar.
And this is kind of the way I want to see Peace play it, right? Like, make sure that you're actually playing out through side lanes, because, as we said, you still have moments to fight back on Red. A ton of CC coming through with Ryze, Leona, Kalista, the Everfrost on the Ryze as well. It means that you don't have this, well...
Oh, they're going to go for the full-fledged dive onto Guigo as he gets himself feared underneath the tower. Tally not going to get another turret hit, so he should be able to keep himself alive and well. Titan there to defend the tier 2, but it's a trade of towers, but you're still getting that extra little kill, and that means it is still a 3,500 gold lead in favor of Peace.
Yeah, you can see the difference there, right? When you're not kind of struggling to deal with all the different CC options on Red side, you can just look for these quick picks, set yourself up for success. Great dive potential both with Tally and Babip. Hell, even Chachi as well, with just how much CC and damage he provides.
Not a lot of vision here for the side of the Red Canids. Need to be a bit careful of where and when they go for and engage. The side of Peace just being delayed time and time again before they get the resets in, but they will eventually get them in.
Yeah, Aegis now just trying to see if he can steal away some of these camps as Peace are going for the reset, but Chachi just coming in from the top side would keep that one safe, so not quite able to do so. So at least now, Peace coming back out onto the map, right? You're going to have the Baron just spawning in a couple of seconds, so let's see if they can try and have at least Tally playing up onto this top side. I'd prefer to see Chachi just on the bottom side. Obviously, TP available for him, so he'll be able to get in towards the Baron, and especially if you can get this like deep vision and the opportunity for TP wards in the red jungle, it's going to work out a hell of a lot better for Peace.
You talked about Peace a lot. We know what they want to do. We know how they want to play this one right now. How do Red come back into this? Because it's not an insurmountable gold lead. It's only 3,500. They can still find opportunities, but where are they going to find them?
Yeah, I think your best bet here for Red is like, see if you can get this Gangplank online. Obviously, 0-3 has been delayed a little bit, but if he gets the late portion of the game and Peace try to overextend in a team fight, all clump up, the AoE damage between the Gangplank and Grevthar is going to do work. You've also got a ton of CC that works really well in these jungle corridors or like access into river points, so it feels like that's the best moment for Red to find fights and try and bring this back from the deficit that they find themselves in.
Oh, we're going to see Vizicsacsi playing weak side, buddy, and this is Cagel saying the weak side police are here. Jojo going to flash forward, get themselves the solar flare locked down. We're going to see the slicing maelstrom come out, but those are two very tanky members, and a shutdown going over to the side of Guigo. Peace going to try and push it in this bot side, maybe even the mid.
Yeah, they need to go mid. They've no wave left on the bot side, and Titan, nice job with the Q to close it out, and there Grevthar is as well, so really nice job from Red to find that moment to get it, but they will need to get back towards this bottom side, see if they can actually stop this push, but I'm surprised that we didn't see Aegis back, right? He's still on the top lane, might be looking to collapse on the mid, but there's no one there.
Yeah, they do get a kill on top side, but without the resets coming in for Red, but a TP is coming in anyway. They're going to try and maybe pour something into mid lane. 20 seconds till that dragon spawns. This would put Red onto a soul point.
And with Red having control over the river, it makes it a hell of a lot easier for them to find those fights we talked about. In and amidst the entrances in towards river is where you can look for these big barrel combos. Look for Grevthar to try and lock people up alongside Jojo.
TP's very deep there onto the right-hand side. Vizicsacsi is here, so you have two members or three members of O's on the side now. We're going to try and start this fight. There is the Glacial Fissure to try and set it all off. Tally jumps in. He gets immediately put into his undying range and trying to keep moving forward. Titan just cannot keep himself alive. He needs to keep pushing forward, but there's only so much you can do. The Solar Flare going to try and maybe turn this one around, but there's just not a lot there. Peace will get themselves 3 kills. Peace will get themselves a dragon or maybe even a Baron.
Peace read exactly what Red wanted to do, making sure that they come in from multiple different angles onto the fight and not giving Peace the opportunity to, Red the opportunity to find the fight they wanted. Now, Peace take that dragon. You've got Tally running up top side to make sure they can keep pressure on the map and continue to play their game plan, playing through Tally and Babip and the ultimates that they provide.
Big moment there for Peace as we have a look at this replay. And again, they just kind of pincer them in and corral them into this one bad choke where they know they can get so much damage.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You can see Red, they're trying to bounce back, they're trying to move in towards this top side, but when you have an Infernal Rift like this, it opens up so many different angles of attack, and Peace do a wonderful job here of utilizing that fact, right? You get Babip coming over the wall, Tally's already swung around into position, and you never get Peace all grouped up in the one area like Red would like for finding these fights.
You see there with the goal difference over time, it is just slowly but surely finding a little bit of moments there where Red are able to fight back, but has been very Peace favored the entire game. They've equaled out the Dragons, they got Infernal of their own, so Soul Point is a mile away at minimum 10 minutes or a little bit less. So right now, Red, you're just trying to find yourself an opportunity. You're trying to get these items going for yourself, and they are coming. It's just probably not as fast as they would like.
Yeah, but this is where Peace are comfortable, right? We talked about their neutral objective control, right? Yes, they've given some over to Red, but they have 9 souls coming through from the LCO. They love playing for this objective, but might need to be careful as Red, trying to see if they can test the vision that Peace are getting down.
No vision for you now. Paranoia goes down. That's going to limit how you can go in this one. We're into another choke. They're coming out into a slicing maelstrom. That's fantastic. Vizicsacsi Titan, though, is getting some nice little auto attacks in. He's now going to have to deal with Tally, who gets himself the auto attack, trying to turn to Violent, who will go golden and keep himself alive. But boom, the barrel goes off in his face, and he is down to dust. Now we can see that Red are trying to see if they can pick off any of these stragglers, but in the end of it all, it's a 3 for 2, still in favor of Peace.
It's 15-5, a 6,000 gold lead for Peace. They are controlling the map, and Tally, he just gets to shove in topside again. Peace coming out time and time again on top of these trades, and you're still looking, as we said, at the Dragon that's going to be spawning in 3 minutes. Baron is still up and available, and look at all the wards that have been littered by Peace into that topside jungle. When Chachi gets his TP up, those are the wards that they're going to be looking for him to look for these flanks and finish off Red.
It's like a circle of death. You can just follow it from right to left. It's just like, whoa, big overarching kind of like pick your poison, pick your TP spot, as Vizicsacsi is going to be waiting for that cooldown with a big old grin, knowing that it's coming, as we can see now already the side of Red recognizing this fact. They recognize the flanks are potentially there, and they're moving in, but they may actually look to try and just sneak away this Baron. This is a realm warp into the pit.
Yeah, Aegis though was spotted on the ward, but as you can see, yeah, they've no clue.
Now they do.
Peace trying to move in, but this could be caught. It's too late.
It's too late. The Paranoia is available. Paranoia will be used. Baron down to about 3,000 HP. You're going to try and get the Nocturne into the back of the pit. The Baron will not be stolen by him today. Guigo goes down, and that's Red with the Baron. Now, the fight can really happen. It's a 4v3 as the rest of Peace are trying to just take away all of these buffs. 1, 2, maybe even more. It's a double kill for Tally. Vizicsacsi is late, but can he get any work done? They're going to jump straight onto Grevthar, and that's going to be 3 for this mid lane Tryndamere. 4 is going to be it, and yes, you got the Baron, but you lost it all.
If you're going to use that realm warp in, you've got no escape car left. You get the steal, but there's nothing left to get away, and Red Cannons now die in the pit. You've got Chachi and Aladoric pushing in mid. Tally once again taking his throne on the top side of the map as well, and Peace, despite not having Baron, will get 2 towers for themselves.
And will get themselves 2 towers, so sadly for the side of Red Canids, they will only get themselves the Baron gold, which is nice, but they lose so many structures around the map. All they have left is their base. They haven't really been able to make it stick.
Yeah, and you can see it here, right? Nice call, nice idea, but the whole point of this was, right, Chachi doesn't have his TP. He's going to be the big engage tool, but unfortunately for them, Peace are just too far ahead. This nearly works out for them, but not being able to get out of the pit, you've got Peace, who are just free-firing all the way through this. Tally, when he gets into the middle of this thing, is running amok because he's got so much damage, got the invincibility as well, and you can even see Violet right in the thick of things, but doing so much in these fights.
Just walks in, recognizes the exhaust had already gone down. He's going to get the full damage off on these auto attacks, and all 5 members of the Red Canids do fall at the end of this play, but luckily for them, they take it off the map.
And the big thing now is you get great resets for Peace at the Dragon, right? You can already see they've come out, look at their position on the map, take everything on the bottom side, set yourself up for the Drake that's in 25 seconds, and maybe take a turn for yourself.
You have 3 members of the side of the side of Red Canids just pushing in the top side. You've used now 1 global ultimate, and you're going to have to try and maybe fight for this turret now. The base has been broken open. There is the Paranoia coming in. Tally going to have to use his Undying Rage to keep himself alive on this backside. There's no exhaust there, but the Ryze has fallen. Grevthar not quite able to stay alive. Tally just not able to go down, and that's going to be it. Double kill, make it a triple. It looks like PCE are going to represent OCE, and they're going to take the higher seed.
The LCO looking so good coming into this. 2 towers about to fall, but Red, they're trying their best.
They are trying their best. It's still a Gangplank with 3 items. With the Navori quick blades, those barrels will crit and they will come back up fast. Now, do you fully commit to this one here? They're going to jump on the Guigo. He's dead. You do not have any more damage now with that Gangplank, but they will take down the Tryndamere alongside this one. Almost able to make this one turn around, but it is not going to happen. And in the final group game of Group A, it is Peace who come out on top.
And honestly, if that's going to be our little bit of a teaser for tomorrow, I am hyped for this series. Phenomenal play from Peace from the get-go, getting control early, making sure that they're waiting on that level 6 and finding that perfect skirmish in the bot side to set themselves up with control of the game.
And not only do they come out of this with a win, getting that first side selection in the best of 5 tomorrow, you now know you've done it. You can beat this team, and it's a mental warfare that you come into this. You have given yourself definitive proof we can win, and that is huge for OS fans across the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a massive performance here from Peace. And again, I mean, for a team that had so many struggles in the regular split, trying to find their team, trying to find the style that was going to suit them well, coming into the play-ins, adding Chachi into the mix as well, and looking this good. We're going to have to see if they can now continue that streak tomorrow.
And for the Red Canids, it's a little bit of a sour kind of taste in your mouth, if you will, but you've got yourself a second chance. You have an opportunity tomorrow to do your homework, get yourself back into this, and really show what you're made of. And it's going to be a fun time. We're going to soon hear from Tally, and as we go to a break, let's catch the sonorous sounds of Peace clutching out the win yesterday against Infinity in this Sounds of the Game presented by Bose.
I'm coming back. I have Predator now. I'm coming. I have flash ult.
Leona, love you.
He's gonna hit Mega though. We should wait. Yeah, it's good.
I have ult. Multi-lane.
Yeah, I kill you.
I stun this guy as well.
Kill both. I start moving. We're good. I think he's dead to me.
He's dead.
Nice! Go, boy!
I'm dead. Just get out.
I'm coming there.
Play James. You guys can win. Play James and Zaya.
I'm coming.
Lean.
Lean no flash, no kick. You guys win together. I can.
Let's
go, Go! 3 seconds. Hey, relax.
It's it.
That's fine.
It's fine.
End mid.
Let's go, boys.
Let's
Go!
We're not pissed.
We're not pissed. We're the king of the pisses. End the game. King of the pisses.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Yeah, right. Pepperoni pockets, an atomic brownie, cuckoo crusty.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider ranch. You're the man.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey, how you doing, baby? You look mighty fine. I figured I might come your way and roll up on you with that golden ticket. Shawty, can I get your digits? Maybe we can kick it. Hey. Just wait till all my
Smell irresistible. The new Axe Effect.
And welcome back to Iceland for World's 2021 play-in stage. Peace score another win in the book, and with that they get the side selection for the best of 5 tomorrow against the Red Canids and Tali. It feels like you finally found what you needed with the team, right?
Yes. I mean, I think that we've really gotten to our groove. I think that the team that we were when we came in and the team that we are now are completely different, and I'm really happy with our progress.
Yeah, I can imagine, and it shows really game to game. And I also want to talk about the matchup here, especially into the game, because picking Tryndamere into Ryze, I mean, we know usually how it goes when you pick a melee into a range matchup, but tell me your insight on it and why do you think it's a good matchup?
Well, I actually think this is Tryndamere's worst matchup.
Oh.
Probably because I just think point-and-click hard CC is really hard to deal with as Trynd. I was really comfortable playing the champion, and the way our comp was going to play was we're going to really abuse the side, so I just wanted to pick the strongest side lane I could.
All right. Well, when I talked to Shovi a couple of days ago, he told me that Tryndamere is a good champion, but maybe not as strong as we think he is. What is your thought on that?
I definitely think that he's not... I think he's quite overhyped, but I do think he is a very, very strong champion when he can succeed in the game. So when the conditions are met, I think that Tryndamere can really just take over a game.
Yeah, and when you can press R, of course. Yeah, it's been a really cool champion to see. Last question I have for you here. You will play against the Red Canids tomorrow. Again, you just won against them here. How much of a mental edge it gives you over them, and especially given the fact that you will have side selection for the first game?
I definitely think the mental edge is a huge thing in competitive league, but I don't think they really showed how good of a team they are. I think the games that they played previously, the early games were very, very good, and they weren't able to really do that against us because of how well we prepared. So I think that going to the best of 5, we're still going to have to play even better if we want to take it.
What can we expect from you and maybe from them?
Well, I think that we're going to play pretty much the same way. I think that I'm very comfortable on melee mids, and if people keep giving it to me, they're going to struggle. So I think they have to be ready for that.
All right, well, let's hope they focus on that. Well, for now, thank you so much for the interview, Tali. Congrats on winning the game.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to take a break here, and we'll be back in a couple minutes with Detonation Focus Me versus Beyond Gaming. Stay tuned.